Hi, it's Katie Mackenzie, mortgage professional with TMG The Mortgage Group and your host of I Love Vancouver Real Estate. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. It's my pleasure today to be here with David Adair, owner of Blackfish Homes, an award-winning built green performance home builder and renovator. Based in North Vancouver, the Blackfish team brings more than 40 years of experience to your project. They can translate your dream into reality, delivering unmatched quality of service and constructing beautiful, flawlessly crafted homes to suit the needs and lifestyles of their clients. Before founding Blackfish, David has worked as a professional photographer, graphic designer, ocean, kayak, and whitewater rafting guide, ski patroller, in construction for special effects for the film industry, and trained as a residential electrician. And another fun fact, David has also built a custom-made, cedar-sided, and insulated hen house for the family's chickens that made the news. David, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. So I want to start off by asking you, tell me about building somebody's dream home and managing clients' expectations, reality versus, let's say, my reality from what I've seen in television or what I've been sales pitched by another builder.
Yeah, it's definitely I think the biggest piece of the puzzle that I deal with on a daily basis is managing those expectations of clients. So making sure the picture is clear from the outset that building a custom home is a process. It's not looking at a set of drawings and looking at spec and saying, this is how it's going to be. There's many stepping off points in regards to when we need to make decisions and how we make decisions and when they should be clear and when they need to be decided by. The reality of building a custom home is the exact term. It's custom. Nobody's built that house at that time with those trades, with these materials, with the available sub trades and suppliers at that time, with this price point, with this labor. There is no book that says this is how your house is going to go together. Mm-hmm. We take real information from past experience and we take what we learn from the homeowner in regards to what they want to see out of their homes or what's important to them. And we go through a process together as a team with their architects and designers, and we create something that's special for them. Why we chose to do just homes was for that process. We love that. We love seeing their faces at their families, the joy of them enjoying those homes and loving them forever. Mm-hmm. We've had very few of our projects over the last 12 years ever go for sale, a small select amount of them. Most of the homeowners are still there. We're still great friends with these homeowners, get invited to the Christmas parties and those things. It's a family for us, and we want to try to look after them the best we can.
I think people just get fed all this information on these reality TV shows of, it goes super smooth and I pick, my fridge and my dishwasher and you put it in and life is great. And that's not what it is.
Well, what they don't show you in the TV show is the 6 months of planning that went behind the amount of the 30 minutes that you saw in that program. And we don't even get that much time of that planning process when we develop these budgets and start these homes. I'm often given at the beginning of the outset of the job a very, a permit ready set of plans, but vague and enough that I know where things are going, but I don't know what things are.
So what should somebody come to you with to start the process to make sure that it does flow as best as it can?
As much information as they can possibly provide. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is that clients have hired an architect, they've hired a designer, they've got a basic set of plans, they're starting the process, but they haven't selected all of the things that they need to do yet. Mm-hmm. And they'll come to me and they'll say, well, you need to, create a schedule and let us know when we need to have these things decided by. Mm-hmm. And the reality of it is, I don't know exactly what those things are or that timeline until you actually pick them. Because if you pick a tile that has to be imported from Italy, and it has to come on a boat, and it's X amount, it could take 10, 14 weeks to get some of these products. Mm-hmm. And or you could walk down to a local supplier, there's great tile stores here in town, you might find something they stock, and I can pick it up the next day. Mm-hmm. So do we decide that thing 16 weeks out, or do we decide it the day before we start? Things will be limited in regards to what you can choose if we have to do that work the following day. Mm-hmm. But really, as soon as you're engaging in the process of designing a custom home, you should be trying to make every reasonable choice in regards to what you want to see in that home, and go make some product selection. So at least we have a baseline of information to work from. I'm all for people changing their mind. That's what custom homes building. It's their house. They get every right to change it as many times as they want. If I have to rebuild a bathroom 3 times because they want to move things 3 times, I will rebuild the bathroom 3 times because it's their house.
Yeah.
But I need some information to start from. And that information needs to be, a laid out set of drawings. Where is the tile going to go? Where are we going to start things? Where are we going to stop things? How high is the glass? Where's the vanity? How high things are on the walls? These are detailed drawings.
Yeah.
We can make it up as we go if that needs to happen. But that's a design build process, and that will take exponentially longer.
So then that brings in that conversation of working with a designer to help with those choices. Because I know what I like, but I would not be able to put the pieces together. Yeah. Right? So a designer can help in that regard to help you make those selections.
Definitely. And there's other firms out there that sell a design build service. So they have some of that service in-house where they'll hire you, the builder, and they'll maintain all those, but you're paying for that service. It's not free. It's not, you can't compare my build price to their build price and say that it's an equal cost. It's not. They charge for that design service. So we choose not to do that for a couple different reasons. We feel the best at their craft don't work for builders. The really great designers and real great architects and residential designers, they work for themselves or with or other firms because it's a specialty. And I actually think the best residential designers sometimes don't make the best interior designers because the product knowledge is such a huge piece in the interior design world. What's new, what's coming up, what fits with what. The people that specialize for interior design, and some architectural firms have specialty people in their house, that team that focus on that, and that works. But the amount of knowledge you need to have on product selection is so massive. So either working with a firm that does both well or hiring those 2 pieces separately. The second reason why we like keeping it out of our office is that we want to remain arm's reach from it. So I'm really there to tell the client and be the advocate for the client that I'm not married to the design. I don't have to live there. I don't have to love it. It's not my space. It's not where I'm going to, if I'm going to design it, it's going to be my space. It might look completely different than what you're going to do because it's my taste. But I can be objective to say, listen, this is way too expensive, or this is not, won't work with the materials selected because I'm not trying to pump the design. I'm not trying to sell that design. I didn't create it in-house, and I'm not trying to. So we feel we're more of an advocate for our clients because we're arm's reach away from a design build situation because of it, for that reason.
So talk to budgets, because that's obviously a big piece for my listeners, anyone doing a design, build, renovation. What is the first thing that you tell somebody in regards to budgets?
The budgets are only as accurate as the information provided.
Yeah.
So everybody reads through a newspaper and sees the listing for the car. Oh my God, look at this! I can go to buy a BMW for $25,000. I'm going down to the dealership. Yeah. And then you realize it has roll-up windows and maybe 3 wheels, and it's missing all the things you actually want to have in that BMW because that's why you're selecting a BMW. And by the time you actually decide on all those items and pick what's actually going into that car, it's $50,000. Yeah. And that's the exact same case in construction and especially in renovations. Yeah. Because there's so much backward process in renovations in regards to how much do we have to actually tear apart before we actually can move forward, and how straight and plumb. And at the end of the day, a client expects when we do a renovation that the work is going to look as close to perfect as possible, but we're really not working with a blank, a flat canvas, right? We're like taking an old oil painting and now I want an acrylic. I don't want any texture on it. I want to see this flat painting, right? Well, how do we fix the oil painting to get the acrylic finish at the end? Yeah. Reframe walls, retrue things, square things up, new foundations up, and none of that's realized until you start tearing things apart and really look at what you have to work with. Yeah. New construction, certainly a little bit more straightforward. We're starting with a blank canvas. The real big unknown in residential and new home construction is what's underground. When we start digging, what are we going to find? What's the dirt like? How deep do we have to go to find, reasonable soil? soil to land on and compactable, product do we find a Volkswagen side? We found a tree the size of a bus under one dig, right?
Wow.
Fallen down before the house was built and buried, and we're digging, and this thing comes up, and it was literally the size of a small bus, right? Like, how do you don't know those things are down there, right? So those are some of the unknowns.
So the best thing then is to approach you and say, here's what we'd like to do. Yeah. Here's what our expectation on budget is. What is it really going to look like?
Yeah. Or what can we accomplish from that? Yeah. And that's from hiring an experienced builder or renovator, that they can look at a scope of work and give you a ranging of costs. Yes, you could probably achieve this based on using some of this product, and look at this job we did, which is of similar scope and style, and it cost X amount of dollars to do. Does that something that fits in your scope of what you want to accomplish? Yeah. I have kind of a golden rule too for renos, that it costs about $100,000 a month. So if you're going to be at a house for 6 months, you can pretty well say it's going to be a $600,000 reno, with being within the realm of what we do as a company. Okay. You could certainly do it cheaper. Yeah. Not that you want probably it to be cheaper. Yeah. We care about what we put there for people. We're trying to build a legacy product for them that they're not going to have to worry about later. There are all kinds of corners in construction. I would not sleep at night if I did those, or my firm did those, or the guys that work for me did those. I rest easy at night knowing that even if the budget didn't go perfect, and they, clients unfortunately end up spending more money than they hope for, I feel good that they're not going to have a house that's going to break down, fall apart, and not be worth the effort that was put into it.
But you can save a bit on, the lower end appliance rather than, the solid bones of the product.
Yeah, things that are replaceable are definitely easier to deal with. Countertops, upgrading, lighting later. You always change a paint color. There's definitely little steps. The problem that happens is the process is frustrating for anybody invested in mind. Your house is torn apart. It takes time to do. It becomes that, oh my God, I don't want you to come back, even though we love having you here, but let's just please get it done. So it becomes that snowball of, you were working on this side of the house, but we probably, I call it the while you're here factor. While you're here, you should probably deal with this, and all of a sudden this 3-month small scope job turns into, and I'm dealing with this right now. We started a reno, had an X goal. We're going to do the inside. House was junk. I had to do the whole outside. They're adding yard work. We're putting in a pool. We're changing the garage. All these things were in while we're in the process. They want to do these things. No wonder, if they had given me that scope at the beginning of the job, I would have said it would have been X amount of dollars and probably taken a year plus, which is what we're at. But I didn't get that information up front. This is kind of the piece they wanted to do, and now we're adding to it, right? So I can't leave. I don't want to ever leave a job and leave somebody hanging in the middle of a project. That would be worse for them too, right? Because starting something
more costly for somebody to come in midterm.
And I've taken over lots of jobs from builders that have been let go, and it's a pain.
You almost have to deconstruct what's there and start over.
Yeah, you don't know, and then trying to get engineers, or if they've been involved with the past builder, who's going to take on that responsibility of looking after things and getting new people involved, and it's a nightmare, right? I don't like doing it. I try to avoid it when I can, but we try to make our choices with our clientele based on our clientele. When we meet them, if we think that it's going to be a good relationship and we're happy with that conversation and things are going to go well, then I'm a sucker for trying to be involved and help people out, because I think there's so much garbage put into our industry. I'd like Blackfish to be a name that's remembered on the North Shore for giving people great product. And no, it's not going to go perfect. Anybody that's listening to this podcast and they're thinking about building a house or doing a reno, and they have somebody sitting at the table in front of them, they're selling them a pitch of, the truth of the matter is nobody can predict that. This winter.
Right.
Really,
forecast for sun. No, I wake up and it's snowing.
We're at a month delay on jobs, and it's not only just because of the weather. That stopped us at the time of the weather, but then all the trades get backed up, and then they're trying to catch up. So it's not just, again, there's this ready room of trades that are all waiting for the green light. They come rushing over the site. They all have all their own jobs. So when a delay happens, their whole life gets delayed and everything gets stacked back. So a week on site can mean 3 weeks. or a week delay with weather can mean 3 weeks, because the time they actually get back to site and get themselves caught back up, your schedule is now 3 weeks later because of that 1 week delay, right? So, and then the other step that goes with that is there's just really not enough great trades, people that do really quality work. And we've seen the reverse rush hour coming onto the North Shore every day now. There's so much work happening over here. It's endless trades vans and work trucks and everything that are trying to come over here every day and get off every day. There's so much work happening here, but trying to get anybody that's really top quality, the people that you really want to work on your jobs, like they are a select group of people. Like there's trades in my pool that I generally don't even give I wouldn't say no choice to our clients, but I am very specific about, if we want this to look great and work well, this is who we need to work with. It's not, we don't want to start snowballing this out to a bunch of different people and hoping for the best, right?
So depending on product, scope, size, timeline is, of course, all over the map. Weather. On average, what is the timeline?
For new construction, anything that's less than 5,000 square feet house in the lot is easy kind of access. For we generally 12 to 13 months. A year ago, I would have said a year, no problem. Not no problem, but a year without having a weather delay. But now trade delay has become a part of this, and product delay. So.
Permits?
This would be from shovel hitting the ground.
Okay.
So not even from pre-demolition. This is from the big excavators on site and they're tearing the house down. It's a year from generally, or a year plus. Houses get bigger or the lot's more difficult. Access is tougher, then those dates are going to go up. But we're pretty good at hitting the dates. We're, especially in new construction, renovations, much harder because it's that slippery scope, right? What do we think we were going to do at the beginning of the job versus what did we actually do when we nailed it all down about what we wanted to do, right?
So you guys have done some pretty cool projects. You've won House Awards, Georgie Awards. You're featured in this month's Western Living magazine for one of the projects that you've done. Like what are some of the big projects that you've absolutely loved and have showcased? And
so a big part of us is we build under the Build Green Canada banner. So it's a national program that focuses on energy efficiency, footprint, and air quality, as I see it, product selection. So we're really trying to put efficiency in the forefront of the things that we do, and air management and air quality. So I like all types of houses, and we pride ourselves on the fact that even with houses that people say you can't make efficient because they're either too modern or too much glass or too much this or too much that, we can. So we're actually building a net zero passive house right now. It's on North Bend. It's very architecturally designed. It is everything about it says no passive house because it's overhangs that are steel, and it's not a continual wall system. So we've got all kinds of envelope interfaces that are very tricky to deal with and manage, and decks over. It's just not conducive to what would be easier to deal with as a passive house in regards to how it's built. But we're making it happen. The solar arrays up on the roof right now. The house is in finished construction, but we've got the solar array active, and I've watched the meter go backwards, on a sunny day, even though we're constructing in the house and power is being used. He's returning it power to the grid still in construction phase, right? So, that kind of stuff is pretty great. I love driving through the neighborhoods of houses we built 10, 12 years ago and still seeing them look great and be there, and the family's still living in them. And I love all that. I like houses of all shapes and sizes and styles and designs, and meeting new people and seeing what's interesting to them, and meeting new architects and new designers and creating relationships with them, and seeing where the industry can go and what the potential is, and new technologies arising. Energy efficiency is a lot bigger of a thing in Europe just because of how little space there is in regards to land mass, and we have cheap power here and it's clean, so we think it's really easy in regards to not having to consider these ideas for our homes. But that's not going to be the case forever, right? We're a growing economy, and we need to be able to cut back. There's not enough for everybody to get, long term. Although we're a small population in our part of the planet, this is a very big population that's on this planet that's also consuming goods. So we all have to do our part. And if we can use less power, and we can use less product, and we can build better houses that emit less greenhouse gases and are more sustainable, we're doing our part. And I feel that's what I want to bring to this industry. And we can do it in a design forward way. You can have the house you want with lots of glass and all the views and all the things that say this isn't efficient, but we can look at ways to make them better.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
any step forward is great.
I think that's, those two pieces of the fact that your clients are still in their homes 10, 15 years later. It's not this build it to live in it for 5 and sell it because someone else will buy the lot for more. It's build to live and live then efficiently, which is that second piece that you talked to, which is where we should be looking to.
Yeah.
And I wish that more people would take the time to invest in that because you're rewarded on the backside for it.
Yeah. A massive greenhouse producer is residential homes. Like, it's huge. It's a massive part of the industry. But it's funny, like, we will spend more effort and time trying to figure out what the gas efficiency is of our car that we're about to buy. And how much power our TV will use. Does it have a sleep mode? Because I don't want to pay for the power when the TV turns. We'll take all this effort and time researching this to the nth degree. Especially my father. But we don't really spend that much time looking at our houses as a machine, right? Like, so I have, well, it's not as much as anymore as the trades that we work with are used to what I'm after or what I'm looking for. But for the longest time, it seemed like this huge fight. It was this like, well, no, we don't want to use these systems, even though, well, this is what I put in for the last 10 years. Like, that's the last thing I actually want to hear from these guys is like, well, let's look at why we're doing this, not just because we've done it. Like, we like to assemble houses as a system, not just a bunch of parts and throw it together and hope for the best. Right? We take into consideration, what are the glazing, what is the air envelopes, amount of air changes an hour, like how do we reduce that, and can we reduce the boiler sizes, and can we make the heat load less and drop temperatures of things so the house stays more consistently warm all the time, the boiler's not going on all the time and ranging around, and having those kind of things, right? So we're always looking to have that house work better as a finely tuned machine. The Tesla, or the Audi, versus the Volkswagen.
So are you putting in the Tesla roof?
I haven't put in the Tesla roof yet, but we do a number of Tesla chargers, and we have Tesla clients for sure. Yeah. And we've done solar arrays, hot water recovery. We're a big fan of drain waste recovery units. I like making passive non-mechanical solutions for clients that will give back to them year round versus mechanical solutions like heat pumps and things that are cheaper to run. Like a heat pump is cheaper to run year round because it's electrical versus gas, but it's still putting power into something. So I like to look at insulation values, exterior clad, better glazing, roof overhangs, natural elements, which is kind of under that passive house model that comes from Germany in regards, which technically started in Canada. But looking at solutions that will help our clients year round that don't require a mechanical input, things that you're gonna do once and set and forget. You're never gonna reclad your house if you put exterior clad insulation on it, right? You're gonna not go back and do that after the fact, but you can always put a heat pump on your house later. Right? Trying to solve solutions that they don't want to do later.
So let me ask you, if there's one thing, if you could tear your house down and rebuild, if there's one major thing you could change, what would you change?
My own house?
Yeah. What would you put in?
Oh, more storage for all my kids' stuff.
Well, that's a consideration.
The underwritten thing in housing. If you're thinking about having children, have plenty of storage. As we sit here, you can't see this, but my wife's an interior designer, so we're surrounded by tile, ski gear, gym equipment, multiple dogs that you hear scratching and playing in this, so storage. I think life, there has to be practical things to life in regards to, I like living as uncluttered as possible. So, having, because I think it cleans, it cleans your mind too in regards to not feeling like everything's always busy. Yeah. That would be the practical answer. From a build side and efficiency answer, I'd love to do solar, PV, the ability to create energy that I can sustain off from the sun on my own environment. I have a nice sunny lot. We'd be very good place for that. Yeah. To stand at that house and see that meter going backwards midday, and we're all, that's great. That house is literally living on its own as an entity, making its own power. It's a pretty cool feeling that it's happening. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to end our podcast because we've gone over our time. I know, but a lot to talk about. We easily could have done 2 podcasts, but did want to again thank you for taking the time podcast with us today, and hopefully give more insight for clients as to setting their expectations the right way when they are doing a custom build. More about what Blackfish has to offer and your expertise as a part of their team. So, how do people reach you if they wanted to build a custom home?
The easiest is through our website, info@blackfishhomes.ca. I'm definitely never against answering a question, even if I'm not building your house. Like, if you have something and you're just like, listen, I'm doing this seems odd, can you, I try to be a voice for the industry in regards to plugging in and helping people. I'm more than happy to answer a question or two every now and again. Yeah. If it becomes one every 3 hours, it might become a problem. But I'm always happy to help steer somebody in the right direction. So generally through our website or email us at info@blackfishhomes.ca. Follow our feeds. We have a Facebook account, we have a Twitter account, Instagram. They're all generally at Blackfish Homes. If you want to see kind of what's the process of what's going on with us currently. Yeah. Yeah.
And this month's Western Living magazine, you're on the cover.
So we've got some nominations for the Georgie Awards coming out on March 11th. We'll be there. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, once again, thank you. And if you are looking to reach me, not David, all my contact information and links are through the podcast website, which if you've stumbled upon our podcast, you already know, but it's ilovevancouverrealestate.ca or my broker website at mackenziemortgage.com. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today and listening, and hopefully you've taken some valuable information away from our conversation. Again, if you have any further questions, please do reach out to David or myself directly. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes for future episodes, leave us a review, and share with your friends. Until next time, I'm Katy Mackenzie, mortgage professional with TMG The Mortgage Group, and your host of I Love Vancouver Real Estate.